Well, with all due respect, Ross Coulthart is not a scientist. And the statement he made in the last sentence is exactly the basis for a scientific paper that I submitted for publication last night. There is no non-gravitational acceleration, despite the fact that there is evaporation from the object. That means the object is very massive, anomalously massive, 1,000 times more massive than Borisov, the previous object, and 1,000,000 times more massive than Oumuamua. And this is just the lower limit. That's the minimum mass that is needed in order for it not to show any push back away from the sun. So if you see, an object that is, let's say, a dust particle, you see twice an object of the size of a dust particle, and then you see a boulder that is 1,000,000 times more massive appearing. Wouldn't that be curious? Wouldn't that be strange? Wouldn't that be anomalous? And just to remind whoever is viewing this, Ross himself keeps talking for years about unidentified anomalous phenomena. So he makes a living out of talking, not doing science, just talking and speaking to other people who do science. And he himself is engaged with things that appear anomalous. I'm doing the science. I published scientific papers. I wrote 9 scientific papers over the past 2 months on 3i Atlas. I'm not a journalist asking for the advice of other people to tell me what this object is. I'm actually doing the research to tell me what the object is. So for a journalist to go around and solicit consensus view about an object and then talk for years about anomalous phenomena that the same people that he's talking with right now would completely dismiss as irrelevant. The same UAP that he keeps talking about, UFOs, UAP, and he talks about it for many, many, many broadcasts. If he were to go to the same people that he talked with about 3i Atlas, they would completely dismiss that as irrelevant. Yet, he believes that there are unidentified anomalous phenomena and he keeps talking about it forever. But for 3i Atlas, no. He will go to the same people that dismiss UAP and ask for their advice and then use sort of an average over their opinions to claim that when AVI LOEB does scientific work on this object, we should not accept it. Why? Because a group of other people said to him that we should not consider any anomalies. And I say, well, exactly this sentence that he said at the end, where the object doesn't show any non-gravitational acceleration, that sentence is an anomaly. Why? Because in order for the object not to be affected by its evaporation, it needs to be extremely massive, anomalously massive, 1,000,000 times more massive than Oumuamua. And we haven't seen 1,000,000 Oumuamuas. So, why would we not consider that as an issue? Why would we say, okay, well, it's just a giant object that appears after we saw tiny objects, and that's not an anomaly. It's just another object. Let's not even think about it. Why would we ignore the fact that it's in the plane of the planets? That's an anomaly. So the current consensus of those people that he spoke with is that 3i Atlas is just an unusually large object that is on an unusually fine-tuned trajectory with the planets by chance. So it's big by chance. It's aligned with the planets by chance. It has nickel without iron by chance. It had a plume of scattered light ahead of it towards the sun instead of behind it, away from the sun, the way comets show, by a process that we don't understand but we don't care about. And it will come close to Mars and Jupiter by chance. So the timing was particularly, fine-tuned, but by chance. And, all of these coincidences, each of them has a low probability. Some of them we've never seen before. for comets in the solar system, including the polarization of light. I didn't even mention that, but the light is polarized in a way that was never seen in a comet before. It has a very negative polarization. And all of these are scientific matters, scientific facts. I wrote 9 scientific papers about these facts, submitted them to journals, and then Ross, who keeps talking forever about unidentified anomalous phenomena, decides to realize what this object is by asking around people, just asking, astronomers that he would like to pick. And my question to him is, why don't you ask the same astronomers about UAP and say the same thing that they say about UAP, because that's what they tell you.